Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So many of you have been hitting me up regarding Arch Manning's visit to the University of Texas this weekend. I want to share my thoughts on not just Arch, but just an incredibly important weekend for Steve Sarkisian and his staff as they host a slew of important players between the 2022 class and the 2023 class, which is obviously led by Arch Manning. Everyone and their mom in this country is after the services of the young man whose uncles happen to be Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, grandfather Archie Manning. The Manning family is football royalty. His father, Cooper Manning, being the middle Manning brother, a legend at Isidore Newman High School, and somebody who is now actually a media personality with Fox, as well as a successful businessman. So across the board, the exposure of having this young man who is the #1 ranked quarterback for the 2023 class, one of the top players in his class, and I would say the most recognizable high school football player in the country right now. I'm not saying he's the best. I know there's a lot of people out there debating about him versus 2022 quarterback Quinn Ewers and the immense talent he has coming out of South Lake Carroll, as well as some other prospects in the class, even his buddy Ruben Owens, who is currently committed to Texas and is the #1 running back in the 2023 class. So in terms of recognition, there's only one dude who I saw have a primetime high school football game in his team showcase, if you will, and that was down in Louisiana, and that was Arch Manning. So what does this weekend mean? I mean, you start with 2022, Harold Perkins, who right now I believe is, if you look at the crystal balls, 247 Sports, that lean is towards Texas A&M. But when you look at the people on the case, and I call this guy the power broker, Mr. Jeff Banks, as well as our head coach, Steve Sarkisian, when you have the power broker and Mr. Sarkisian personally recruiting this young man, who is the top linebacker in the state of Texas and one of the top defensive players in all the 2022 class, they pushed their, I believe is an official visit to USC so he could get to Texas and have this visit. So that's an enormously important visit there, right? And he's actually taking an official visit. The 2023 guys are unofficial, but it's a very, very interesting group, considering alongside Arch Manning, who I'll get to more in detail here. I mentioned Ruben Owens, #1 running back in 2023, and keeping him on board since he's such an early commitment, and the offensive guys. So Jonte Cook out of DeSoto, who I love, and you can make the argument best overall wide receiver right now in the state of Texas. I had an opportunity to join Texas Homer and Justin Wells. Shout out to the homies over there, doing great work. Obviously, Texas Homer on YouTube, Justin Wells Inside Texas, first class guys. I joined them for Margin Hooks' camp out in Plano, and got a chance to see Armani Whitfield, Jonte Cook, and Ashton Cozart, who's another one who will be visiting, who's actually transferring over from the West Coast, moving to Marcus, and is a hot, fast rising wide receiver prospect. I believe has an offer from TCU right now. So you have all these weapons, all these high profile receivers who are visiting, and that's all to gear it up for Arch Manning. And this weekend is very, very important when you look at the outlook, of Texas, the Texas program, right? We're talking about baseball, super regionals. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. I'm imagining they'll incorporate that just into the visit process the way they did, Chris Beard did with the basketball guys that were in town, notably Keontae George. So just the exposure and the business opportunity coming forth, because again, name, image, likeness coming, and we have another Manning, and it's a Manning who's up there talent-wise with his uncles. It's the branding machine that is the University of Texas. And when you look at the other schools we're competing against, Clemson, they've been a sure thing in terms of recent quarterback development. Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, enough said. Alabama, the Alabama thing, it's interesting because the last two guys that were developed there were Steve Sarkisian guys, which is why we have our hat in the race, because of the quarterback development and what Steve Sarkisian has displayed on top of the program and the capabilities that Texas has. Because if you put a Manning with Texas and you give me name, image, likeness, and you give me Austin and the way we already blow everything up, it could get crazy. Now it could also go the way of, and I don't know if anyone's brought this up, but we had another person here over 20 years ago in Chris Sims, who was the #1 overall player in the 99 class, but we had a current Big 12 player of the year, offensive player of the year in Major Applewhite, and that created some friction there, right? And it was a long, drawn out, much documented quarterback process. I'm not here to talk about that, but a lot of people felt like there was favoritism there because they wanted Chris Sims, him being the son of Phil Sims, 2-time Super Bowl winning New York Giant quarterback. There's a lot of in play there also from a recruiting standpoint. So if Arch Manning gets here and let's say he wants to play freshman year and the Mannings are pushing for him to play early and Hudson Card is here tearing it up, will that create some sort of weird dynamic here at Texas? You never know. And I'm not trying to put any bad energy out there. I'm just, again, expectations, good, bad, and different, however you want to look at it. But we said this before, talent acquisition business, Steve Sarkisian, give me the quarterbacks. Give me Malik Murphy. Let's go after Quinn Ewers. Let's go after Arch Manning. As Eric Nolan says, Arch Madness is here upon us, and it's exciting. This is a very exciting recruitment. If you think about the pedigree, which I do think matters significantly, in my opinion, when it comes to football, basketball, baseball, that's close to a sure thing in terms of handling the pressure. I mean, when you're playing on ESPN already, regardless of what program he goes to, we brought up Clemson, Alabama, Texas, LSU. Let's say they've somehow come back into the fold, or Ole Miss, they have legacy there. Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, they're hopefully trying to do some things this year, right? Like all these people are trying to put their bids in terms of how they're developing the quarterback position, how that quarterback's going to be showcased. I think it's going to be very, very interesting how this recruitment process plays out for one Arch Manning and the University of Texas. So you guys let me know your thoughts here. If you are in Austin and they're moving around town and you see Arch Manning or you see him at the baseball game, and let's hope our boys make it to Omaha and keep the party going, Longhorn men's baseball team. But if you see Arch Manning around or his family, or you see Cooper Manning, I know it's keep Austin weird, but don't be weird to them. Let's make sure they have a good time, but they also have their space, and we utilize discretion and giving that good energy to the family, because it would be such a big boost for this university to have the services of that young man come 2023. Hit me in the comments. We're on our way to 10K, almost there. Please support the channel. Please like, share, subscribe. Got big plans, more collaborations coming. And as I'm signing off, you'll see a little thing here. Check out the Texas Platinum collab. We did a Texas Longhorns all-time fantasy draft. Had some really interesting conversations there. Some really crazy picks going on, but it was a blast to get together with the boys from Texas Platinum, both the Mats and my man, Trevor Stiff. So, guys, I appreciate everybody that's continued to support the channel. And remember, Horns always up.